Maybe just a quick recap on why we like the tower sector for viewers online. So the mobile tower sector we really like. It's a sector that has very high barriers to entry due to local zoning laws. And what the tower companies actually do, and I think there might be a picture of a tower company behind me, is that tower companies lease out space on this steel structure to tenants over multi-year contracts, think 5, 10, 15 years. And these tenants are wireless operators or mobile carriers. And these customers install radios, antennas on these towers to help deploy their mobile networks. So thinking about the very short-term COVID-19, what's the impact been? Network engineers build their networks to cope with peaks. And in mobile networks, peaks historically have been on weekends, in the evenings when people aren't at work, aren't at school, and that's when they're consuming their video entertainment. What we have seen with COVID-19 as people are forced to work from home is that mobile data use and data use in general has increased, but that increase has occurred during those off-peak hours, which are during the day and during the weekdays. So whilst we have seen growth, it hasn't stressed networks over and above what they were already seeing. So that's the short term. Why we like towers in the long term, and Pete, you asked me about 5G, and I think the key word there is 5, or maybe it's the G, but the fact that we're rolling out 5G now means there were 4 prior generations, and there's probably going to be a few more to come. And what we have seen in the tower sector is that with each generation of mobile technology, towers have to be closer to each other, and that means those wireless operators have to come back and add more radios, more antennas onto those towers, and each time that happens, the revenue on that tower increases.
So I guess Trent went into this in a little bit of detail in his section, but I'd say we really need to make that distinction between real growth and real bonds and the nominal impacts of inflation. There's no doubt that the impact from real growth and real bonds, both in absolute and relative terms, is the more important driver. Some of our more regulated, contracted businesses, as economic growth is picking up, they will have a small benefit from that, but it's going to be a fraction, a 0.4 or a 0.5 type impact relative to what's going on in the broader economy. There will be things like freight railroads, like trucks on toll roads that have greater sensitivity. And as an active manager, that's our job to tilt the portfolio as the economy is picking up to those sectors. And I think we've done a pretty good job of doing that in the last 12 months. And that's part of the alpha generation that we've seen. As it relates to nominal yields, and frankly, I think that will be the next driver of 10-year bond yields pushing up. It's not going to be real growth, it's going to be an inflation driver. And as we articulated, with more than 70% of our investment universe able to pass through those inflationary pressures, at least in a sort of 12, 18-month time frame, we're very confident that inflation is not only something we're not concerned about, but could actually be a positive driver of both absolute growth and relative returns of the infrastructure sector versus general equities. So I'd say, to answer your question, we would prefer not to see a big increase in real yields and growth from here, but we welcome an increase in inflation. Okay, thank you very much for investing the time with us today. It was great to bring you the whole lineup of our portfolio managers. They've been with me investing your capital for some 13 years now. Very proud of the consistency of performance that we've delivered through time. We've had challenges just like last year in the past. We've continued to deliver for our clients and will continue to going forward. We think that from here we welcome things like the Biden infrastructure plan, which will refocus attention on the need to invest in infrastructure going forward. We're seeing significant interest in asset allocation to consider some of the forward risks like inflation. Valuations today are compelling. We've seen that, as we've just said, in the M&A activity as unlisted and private operators look to take advantage of the discount in listed infrastructure. And as Beck has talked to, some of the long-term structural themes we see around decarbonisation, around achieving net zero, about providing 5G for customers, all point to a bright future for infrastructure. So again, thank you for your investment of time today, and hopefully we can catch up face-to-face in the future. Thank you.
投资一定有风险，基金投资有赚有赔，申购前应详阅公开说明书与投资人须知。